This video will show you how to schedule a Zoom meeting in ConferZoom, either through the website or through the desktop application, depending on which you have downloaded or which one you use. So I will show you the website first. You will navigate to conferzoom.org and come to this page where you can sign in at the top right. And then after you've signed in with your credentials, it will bring you to either your home page, your profile page, and if that's the case, then just select meetings. And when you get to the meetings page, there is a button that says schedule a meeting. Once you select that button, it is going to bring you to the schedule a meeting page, and you can select your topic, type in a description if you prefer. It's optional, you do not have to. Put in the date and time of your meeting, the duration of your meeting. I use this often for office hours, and I will put extra time. So if my scheduled office hour is for 1 hour, I will typically select 1 hour and 15 minutes. That way, just in case anything happens or you get held up or you're with a student or class goes long or whatever your purpose is, Zoom will not kick you out of that meeting. It will allow you to stay in that meeting and not automatically shut it off. If you want the meeting to be recurring, so happen more than once or on a weekly basis or something like that, you can select the recurring button, recurring meeting button here, that option, and then it's going to bring up your options for whether you want it weekly, monthly, how often, etc. Meeting ID will be generated automatically unless you choose otherwise, as well as the passcode. If you want a waiting room, then you can select this button. That is something that I use for my office hours so that I don't have a bunch of students coming in the room all at once. That will allow you to have only one student at a time, and then you can admit students individually as they come when you're finished with the prior student. Video, typically host and participant should both be selected as on, unless you do not want your students to have their videos on. Telephone or computer audio, I always select both for that. If you select one or the other, it will not allow students to call in from their cell phones if you selected computer audio, and then if you have selected cell phone, it will not allow them to connect to their computers, so it's just easier to choose both. Allow participants to join anytime is checked because I don't have a certain time frame when I need them to come in or not come in. Mute participants upon entry, I use this for class, however I do not use it for office hours. Obviously for office hours I want them to be able to come in and talk to me, so usually I uncheck that box. And then there's a couple of other options there that you can select from that are pretty self-explanatory. Meeting type, it's going to ask you if it's instructional or non-instructional. Again, these are all optional. You do not have to choose one or the other. And then save your meeting. Once you have saved the meeting, you will come back to the meetings page and you'll see the list, and it should include your meeting that you just added. If you made it a recurring meeting, those are kind of in a separate list here down at the bottom with the recurring option. And to start the meeting, you simply highlight over it and click on Start. If you're not hovering over the meeting itself, you will not see these options here. These have populated because I hovered over the meeting, and once you kind of highlight over the top of it, it does give you that option to start it, edit it, delete it, etc. So if you ever make a mistake, you can always change it just by clicking Edit. When you're finished with it or you no longer want to leave it on your schedule, you can delete it. But to get it started, you'll actually just come here and click Start to start the meeting. If you're using the desktop app, it looks a little bit different. This is the home screen that you will get once you log in on your desktop. So first you click on the Zoom icon, it will bring up Zoom. If you have it saved on your computer, it will actually log you in automatically, and it'll bring you to this home screen for Zoom. Once you get here to the meetings option, there's this little tiny plus sign here, add button that's not very noticeable and is very easy to miss. And that is actually where you add a meeting. So once you click on that plus button, it's going to give you the option to add a meeting. The options for adding a meeting in the app itself look very similar. There's not much difference. It's very similar to what we just did online when we did it through the website. The difference sometimes that I have with the app and scheduling it on my actual computer, once you save it, it may take you to a screen that looks something like this. And this is because it's actually trying to link the meeting that I've just created to my calendar and add it to my calendar. You can simply ignore this page and close it. You can cancel here and close the email that opens up, the prompt that opens up behind it, and it is still going to save the meeting on your Zoom app. You do not have to go through this whole process in order to get the meeting saved. As long as you've clicked Saved on the prior page, it will in fact save the meeting, and you can disregard everything else that populates, and your meeting will still be saved and able for you to utilize. Same thing here. Once you've saved the meeting, it's going to populate on your list of meetings here on the left-hand side when you're on the Meetings tab. And when you click on the individual meeting that you're looking at, there's going to be a Start button there, and you're able to start and kind of navigate to that meeting in a very similar way as using the web app.